I'm Don Henderson and I'm the Mayor of the Hepburn Shire. Last night was a fairly important time in the term of this council. Even at the start of the council, it's sometimes the busiest period, and we worked hard as councillors and staff. Everybody made a team effort, including our community, to get the major things in that will set us up for the future. Our council plan, which is a 4-year plan, our long-term financial plan, our planning, all of those things were passed last night. Of course, the budget, which has been controversial, was passed also, and there's going to have to be a lot of work put in to make sure that that budget works and that we take the steps necessary to keep this shire viable. Other things that were in the budget that might not have been as visible, and one of the important things to people is about the dogs and cats that are always straying, and people on social media, complaints to councillors, complaints to officers. And there's been a new fee introduced, and that fee is that if your dog is consistently out, the first time we'll reunite the pets with their owner. Unless, of course, they've bitten people or done something else. But if they're just out and we catch them and they put in the pound, previously you could go to the pound and get your dog released for free. It costs the council money. We've decided that it's now going to cost $300 to get your cat or dog out of the pound. And that, of course, if they're unregistered, they'll have to be registered as well. So there's just one thing in the budget if we examine the things that are really going to have an effect on people. There's been other good things that have happened in the Shire as well. One of the things is that our planning application for a glamping out in Sartori's Road, the council actually refused to give a permit based on the fact, well, a few facts, mainly bushfire or grass fire and the protection of human life, but essentially also is the fact that we're now going to protect valuable farmland from fragmentation. That was high on the minds of the councillors who supported the officers in not giving this permit. Not because we don't want development in those areas, but what we do want is agricultural development. So people like artisan farmers on a small lot can actually conduct agricultural pursuits. These are important things. Going back to our strategic plan, a lot of work has been put in on these strategic plans to plan the future development of our communities and to protect the heritage and the neighbourhood character. It's a balance. We don't have a lot of available land, so often our land, the town finishes and the farm starts. So there does have to be some transition, and I believe the council plan, there's been a lot of consultation in the council plan, Hepburn together, and all those things that have culminated in all of these documents coming together. They were largely dealt with as a tranche of documents, and there's a reason for that, because they all are interwoven. Of course, there will have to be cuts in some of the way we do things. That doesn't mean to say that we're going to cut out things like arts and culture. But it may be, in a way, a good thing, because we won't have people saying, no, that's not my job. You come to the Hepburn Shire with a really great project or really great arts and culture program, we can assist you to do that, but it'll be a whole team effort. It won't be just one officer depending on it. It'll be all of us getting in and saying, well, this is something we should support. It can break down barriers, and I think you don't get that in any other organisation. Everyone gets their shoulder to the wheel to make sure everyone in our community is looked after. Recently I've had a big chance to speak to politicians about some of the things that affect us and our rates, the future of the Shire. I've spoken to the Minister for Local Government, and we've done that on 2 occasions. But last week I was able to go to the Parliament, and it was for a function to celebrate the award given by the French government to a restaurant in Trentham. But it was parliamentary sitting time and politicians came after the Parliament rose to attend that, and I was able to talk to them about things like the emergency services levy and how unfair it was to a lot of our businesses and farmers, not so much the residents because it'll be less, but the impact on our businesses and farmers. And also I was able to talk about the power lines to those who I thought should hear about the effect it has on farms. It seems as if the farmers are under attack. There's a drought, there's rate rises, there's the emergency services levy, and of course all of those things impact on what a community like ours depends on our agricultural industry. And it's a tourism attraction. So if we talk about tourism and agriculture in the same sentence sometimes, we see that how important this is. So I was able to get all those things done, and lobbying government is going to be one of the most important things we do. We aren't going to be able to have the funds to co-fund projects. So if they give us $200,000 and expect us to pay $50,000 contribution, we won't have that. So we've made sure that, and I've certainly lobbied to make sure that if they're going to give us money, give it in untied funds so that we can get on with these projects. So I think that's a little bit to chew over, and we will be updating people with Facebook posts. We'll be doing all of those things, press releases, to make sure that people are aware. One of the most important things for ratepayers to remember is that pensioners, we've given a small additional discount of $21, which will take that to $42. The FOGO bins have been reduced by $40, so if you look at that, that's a $60 rebate. Everyone will get the $40, but pensioners will get an additional $21. So that will help somewhat. We can't continue to do what we've been doing, business as usual. We've got to cut our cloth to suit our budget, and that's what we intend to do. And we'll need the community to come with us, and we'll need the government, heavy government support to do what we have to do. Thank you.